All right, next question up. So the question sentence here reads, what is the radius in inches? So again, two very important things mentioned here. We want to find the radius, but we also want to present the radius in inches. Why is that a problem? Well, when we read the actual problem statement, what we see is that we're dealing with this cylindrical pipe, we're given the height, and we're given the volume. When you read those units, you might notice that our height is given as 8 feet and the volume is given as 128 pi cubic feet. So again, our answer needs to be in inches, but we notice that the information we're given, both units are in feet. So that's a little bit of a problem, but nonetheless, let me focus up. We're dealing with a cylinder, we're dealing with volume, so I know that we're dealing with the volume of a cylinder. So I'm going to write down that formula. It's going to be volume equals pi multiplied by radius squared, then multiplied by height. There we are. So, my friends, when we check this out, given that we want the final answer in inches, but we also have our volume in cubic feet and our height in feet, when you check this out, here's the smarter move. The smartest move that we can make is to simply assume that radius will be in feet, not inches. Forget that for a second. Just forget it for a moment. We're going to assume that it's a consistent unit. And at the end, when we find our radius being blank feet, what do we do at the very, very end to make sure we get the right final answer, everyone? Because again, we need it in inches. So how do we convert from feet to inches? What do? Multiply, divide by what number? Yeah, when we're going from feet to a smaller unit like inches, we're going to multiply. And we'll multiply by 12. Remember, 1 foot equals 12 inches, which means once we have feet at the end, we simply multiply by 12. And this is what's going to get us our final answer. So let's get to it here. Let's plug in the values we have. For the volume, we have 128 pi. On the right side, we have the pi. We have the radius, which is what we're looking for, squared. And then we have the height, which is given to us as 8. So I'll begin by simply canceling out the pi on both sides. Because if we divide it out, it cancels out. So those are just going to go bye-bye. I can show you how it looks if I just divide by pi on both sides. You'll see the cancellation yourself. So now that we're here, let me just move this off to the side a little bit, make a little bit more room here on the left. For 128 equals r squared multiplied by 8. So next up, everybody, we will divide both sides by that 8 to get rid of it. And once we do that, we'll see that 8 goes into 128, once for the 12, and then we drop the 8 for 48, and that'll be 8 into 48, which gives us 6. So there we are. We now have the cancellation, and that'll be 16 on the left side, giving us 16 equals r squared. One final question here, everybody. When we want to figure out what r is, the opposite of squaring is square root. So what is the square root of 16? Yeah, square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4, 4 times itself, that gives us 16. So there we go. We know what the radius is. The radius is 4. But don't forget, because, take a look over here, because we were dealing with our volume in cubic feet, our height in feet, that means that this radius that we just solved for is in feet. If we want to turn this into inches like we already planned for, we just need to multiply it by 12. 4 feet multiplied by 12 gives us the proper final answer of the radius being 48 inches. Not 4 inches, that was 4 feet. When we converted it into inches, we get the right answer, which is D, 48 inches. And there we are, my party people. Hopefully that one was a fun one for us. All right, here's the next problem, everybody. As always, read the question first. So it says over here, using this measurement, what is the area of the pond? Okay, so again, I'm only gonna highlight the most important things. What is the area? And we're describing the pond. So the moment I see the word area, I wanna confirm with myself what shape I'm dealing with, because when I can confirm the shape, I can confirm the formula. So here we are. A circular pond is what I see. Let me go ahead and bring it back over here. So a circular pond is designed such that the distance from its center to any point along the edge is 6 meters. I don't know what all that means yet, but I see that it says the area of a circle, so I will write that formula out. Area equals, and I'm going to look at my notes, pi multiplied by the radius squared. So as always, everybody, what does that R stand for? I just said it. R stands for the radius, correct. So what this means, my party people, what that means is, hey, look, my goal is to find the area, so I gotta fill in this formula. And when I check this out, I gotta find out what R is. If I have R in here, great. If I don't, I gotta figure out what R is. I gotta figure out what the radius is. So when I take a look here, it says the circular pond is designed such that the distance from its center to any point on the edge, it's 6 meters. Let me just draw that out. Okay, we have our circle, and it says such that the distance from its center to any point on the edge. Okay, so let me go ahead and start from the center, and let me go to any point on the edge. Everybody, what am I describing here? What am I showing here? Use your eyes. What is that? From the middle to the edge, not all the way across. From the center to the edge, that's radius. Absolutely. Halfway from the center to the edge, that is radius. That is radius, and that is 6 meters. Remember, everybody, area formula for the radius, or area formula for a circle must use the radius. Everybody, which formula is it that can take either the radius or diameter? Which formula is it? Yeah, the formula that goes and uses either radius or diameter, that is going to be, circumference. Circumference, there are two formulas. One is with radius, one is with diameter. The area formula for a circle only uses the radius. And luckily, that's what we're given here. From the center to any point on the edge, that is the radius. Everybody, yes or no, can we confirm that we have the radius, we can plug it in, and we can be done? Perfect. Sounds good. Let's plug it in and keep going. Area equals pi multiplied by, and it says 6 meters. Okay, sounds good. And then we'll square that. 6 squared, which is the same thing as 6 times 6. That is going to be 36. And then we just keep the pi as pi because we look at our answer choices and pi is just pi. Now, pop quiz, everybody. The units here that we see are meters. What is the unit for the area in this problem? Yeah, square meters. Exactly. It's going to be square meters. And there's our answer. Correct answer for this question here is answer choice D. And hopefully we're feeling better and better as time goes on because we're ready for another one.